Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So today we're with Ajani Bandele. He's a cybersecurity expert here at Network IQ. And I'm Viviana, I'm our marketing consultant. I'm going to be asking him some questions about cyber insurance. So Ajani, what is cyber insurance?
Well, cyber insurance is liability insurance, similar to conventional insurance like personal indemnity, professional indemnity, etc. And so it protects against cyber incidents and the cost of cyber incidents.
Hey, great. And how does it work?
The insurance companies will allocate premium based on the risk assessment that they undertake for businesses. And so what that premium will cover, it will cover things like investigation of a breach, it will cover any legal fees that you might incur, and it might cover any losses as a consequence of a cyber incident.
So it's a little bit of support if something happens.
It is a little bit, and probably actually you need a huge amount of support, because cybercrime is actually bigger than conventional crime. So when we think of conventional crime, you might think of, white collar crime, as they say. You might think of fraudulent activity. You might think of like sort of theft, burglaries, etc., etc. And so businesses are insured, generally are insured against what would be considered as conventional crime. But cybercrime is actually far bigger than conventional crime, yet many businesses haven't done that sort of assessment and understood that, and then taken out cyber security insurance.
Yeah, so that's kind of related to my next question of why is it important? Why do we need to have cyber insurance?
It's actually one of the biggest risks that businesses are facing. So there are also legal obligations and compliance requirements depending on which sector you're in, which sector you work in. So for instance, there are GDPR type requirements in terms of protecting personal data. There are sort of CQC type requirements if you're in the health industry, and obviously you hold a lot of very personal data. So it's really important to meet these compliance requirements. It's not unlikely that you'll be the victim of a cyber breach. It's actually guaranteed that every business eventually will be breached. It's important to take out insurance to protect against that, and also to be able to ensure that you can meet your statutory obligations going forward.
So next or in front of this huge risk, right, then you want to have a kind of cover there. So, well, we've talked about what it is and why it's important. So what does it include? What does it cover?
It can cover many things. And so when you take out the insurance, it's important to look at what the exclusions are in addition to what's included, because insurance companies always basically protect themselves and manage the risk to their business. But the typical things that it will cover, so it will cover data breach response. So should you be the victim of a data breach, it'll cover the cost to respond to that data breach, to investigate it. As we're recording this, M&S have been the victims of a cyber breach, and it's been ongoing for 5 days, and they've brought in some cybersecurity experts to understand what's happened and to help them to sort of recover from that. It could include legal expenses, so expenses related to taking advice, or in fact, if there are potential lawsuits against the organisation that's been breached. Business interruption costs, again, the M&S instance, I don't know, they're probably losing millions a day because they can't take online payments. They can't do certain type of payments like Apple Pay as an example, so they're losing money. So cybersecurity insurance would help to compensate for loss in revenue. Things like ransom payments, maybe some companies will include that, some won't. More than likely they'll exclude ransom payments, but there may be costs associated with investigating that. And also there's the old public relations and sort of managing communication with the public, managing communication with statutory bodies, etc., etc. So those are some of the things that would be covered in cyber insurance.
Yeah, definitely. So it can be quite complete, but like you mentioned, you also have to watch out for what's not covered, right? What's not included. So what are some common exceptions, maybe?
Common exceptions would include financial fraud from social engineering. So, if somebody kind of phones up and says, I'm calling from this and this company, and I wanted to get some information, and by the way, the finance director asked me to get in touch with you. That's an example of social engineering. Also, post-attack, if you're a victim of a cyber attack, it wouldn't cover costs to boost your infrastructure and kind of increase the level of sort of cyber hygiene to protect against future attacks. If you're in the medical field, things like medical malpractice claims wouldn't be included. So those are some of the common exceptions that would be excluded from cyber insurance.
Right, but it's always good to check your specific
definitely.
policy, right?
The fine print is really, really important.
Yeah. Excellent. And so in that case, who needs to take out cyber insurance? Who needs to have this?
Well, if your business is digital in any way and you have sensitive data, and that doesn't have to be personal data, it could be business data as well. Commercially sensitive data, you may hold, things like intellectual property, certain type of designs, etc., etc. And should that data be lost, should that data be unavailable, you have to consider what the impact is. So I would say most businesses, in fact probably all businesses that operate in the digital space, need cyber insurance.
Nice. And so if we did want to take out cyber insurance, who do we go to?
Well, I think all traditional insurance providers have some kind of offer of cyber insurance. So there'll be a kind of a minimum level of cover that they will offer. And then you will have specialist providers that specialize in cyber insurance, or providers in certain sectors, like there are some specialists in the medical sector that will provide cyber insurance for that sector. What you tend to find with the specialists, they offer enhanced services as well. So they'll offer services which include cyber breach response. So if you were if and when you're the victim of a cyber breach, they'll have specialists who could actually assist you in understanding the scope of the breach and helping you to recover from it. So it's good to shop around and ensure that you're getting, as they say, the biggest bang for your buck, or the best value really for the investment.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we give an idea of how much we can expect to pay?
Well, that's $1 million question. I mean, I suppose at the entry level, for a minimum amount of cover, you're probably talking hundreds of pounds, maybe sort of £400 or £500 a year in terms of a premium. So in the scheme of things, for your average kind of small business, it shouldn't really be a showstopper. So I think it's very much based on the business. It's very much based on the risk and the size of the business. Yeah.
So on that point, what are some factors that could affect how the premiums are calculated?
It varies, but I know one of the things that insurance companies are keen on understanding is how many records, how many individual records or personal identifiable records you hold, and obviously the larger the number of records, the higher the premium. What the company revenue is, what the number of employees are, what the salary bill is, what industry you're in, number of records I mentioned, number of customers, your history in terms of insurance, historical insurance claims and historical cyber events, what type of security controls and measures you have in place. So, do you have things like Cyber Essentials in place, or Cyber Essentials Plus, or ISO 27001? So all these factors are taken into consideration. And obviously, the higher your cyber hygiene, the more robust your cyber controls, the lower your premium, or the higher the cover that they provide.
Yeah, what an excellent point. And I think also coming back to the industry, right? There are some industries that are being targeted more than others.
Interesting topic to discuss in terms of who's more targeted than others. I mean, what we do know is smaller businesses are targeted more than larger businesses, because smaller businesses have less resource to invest in terms of skilled people and in terms of money and in terms of technology. So they are considered to be kind of an easier target, lower hanging fruit. But I think overall, the risk level for any sector is quite high. So there isn't anyone that's less protected. I like to sort of recall key phrases or key moments from various movies. So this is the X-Files, and there's a moment in there where was it Scully and whatever her name is? I can't remember the names, but anyway, they're given some advice, and then after they give the advice, they're told, be afraid. Be very afraid. and cybersecurity is you can't take anything for granted, so you really need to take it seriously and mitigate the risk.
And so let's say that we shopped around, we decided on something, we have our insurance cover in place. Does that mean that we don't have to worry about any security controls? It's all fine, we have insurance, we can forget about it?
Well, again, another film. There's another film called, and the title is Are We There Yet? Yeah, and it's like a family going on holiday, 2 kids in the back, and they keep, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And security, you kind of get the same kind of question from small business owners, particularly, are we secure now? Well, actually, no, we're not. Because security is a journey, it's not a destination. Leaders in cybersecurity, they say you have to take a layered approach, and it's like an onion, and as you peel back the layers, you find more layers. And so cybersecurity is a similar thing, that you have to have like stages in terms of different layers of protection. You won't be secure, but you'll be more secure. But what you can do is have multiple means of protection in place, or layers of protection in place that will deter them, and eventually you know what, this is not an easy target, let me go and find somebody else who's an easy target. And so really that's what you're aiming to do, become more secure and less vulnerable.
Nice. And then one final question. Is there a difference, maybe we're not sure, between cyber insurance and professional indemnity?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, cyber insurance is really looking at liabilities associated with cyber incidents or a cyber breach, whereas professional indemnity insurance is really looking at professional negligence and omissions that you as a qualified professional person wouldn't be expected to do in the normal course of delivering a professional service. So they're completely different. They're actually complementary. So you actually need both. You need cyber insurance and you need professional indemnity insurance. And by the way, I don't work for insurance companies. So.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ajani. That was really helpful and informative, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. Any final thoughts?
Okay. Well, look, in talking to lots of small business owners, the number one cyber security strategy that I've seen them have is something called HOPE, hope. Yeah, they hope it doesn't happen to us. Look, just do what you know is the right thing, and get some cyber insurance and get Cyber Essentials certified. Those are 2 things that you really should do as a responsible business owner. So yeah, if you get Cyber Essentials certification, then you get a minimum of £25,000 annual cyber insurance for free, and it's included as part of the package. So yeah, it's
an interesting option.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you everyone, and see you in the next video.
Okay. Thank you.